Well, what do you know? It is still possible to make a feel-good gay movie, and that's not very easy to do these days, or rather, I find it's not very often done and accomplished at the same time. Today is my review of Love, Simon, but before I dive into it, I want to explain a little bit my opinions around gay-centric or gay-themed movies. And that is, I generally do not like them, and I don't enjoy them, and a large part of it is because a lot of them tend to be very depressing, or they tend to be very dramatic, or melodramatic, or stereotypical, or cheesy, or just bad quality film. It's not very often that we get movies like Love, Simon. I've seen it now twice over the weekend since it opened, and in the first viewing that I saw, the audience got so invested into the characters and this story to a degree that I don't see or experience in so many theater-going experiences. And for example, there were two moments in this movie that the audience clapped. Usually, once at the end of a movie. If it's a really great movie, that happens. That's happened a number of times, so twice. There's a moment in the middle of the film where it warranted an applause. This movie, I feel like, will draw and hook so many people in because it is such a positive, happy, moving movie that doesn't veer into melodrama or the type of pain that brings you down. It plays a perfect line between reality and fantasy. As for the character standouts of the film, Nicholas Robinson, who plays Simon, this is his breakout role. He's done a couple movies prior to this, all of which I don't even care to recognize because that's how much I care about the movies that he's been in and the characters that he's played. This is his standout breakout role. This will put him on the Hollywood map. It is his movie, and he steals the show. He is so incredibly believable, and he's very moving, and I connected with so many things that he struggled through in this movie, or went through in this movie. I gotta say, Natasha Rothwell, who plays the school drama teacher, she came very close to stealing the movie for me. She was so fucking hilarious, so funny. Every single scene she is in stood out, and the audience reacted very positively to her. I gotta say, Jennifer Garner and Josh Duhamel as his parents did a lovely job. They were in a very supporting role position. The focus wasn't shifted too dramatically on them, even though I argue that they are the most A-list actors in the movie, but they do a lovely job at playing his loving parents, I must say. His friends were all very well cast. This is a very strongly cast film. There isn't one bad actor inside. I gotta give a shout out to Tony Hale as the vice principal of the school. He was so funny, and all of his jokes landed, and he played a character that could almost run the risk of being annoying or too over the top, and I really felt that he didn't cross that line, and he held his own, and he was very strong, and his timing was perfect. And if the acting is bad, then it's very hard for the movie to come back from that, and the acting was not bad for this movie. It was very, very good. Everybody did a great job within their role. It finds a perfect balance of dramatic with real and with a sort of fantastical element. And by fantastical, I mean it is a romantic comedy, so sometimes the little out-of-this-world romantic elements can only happen in films such like this. It kept me engaged, it kept moving. The pacing of the film was very good. It never dragged in any area. Every scene felt significant to the overall story and how it unfolds, and there's a mystery element to the entire movie. The movie is a very feel-good movie. And I could see some people arguing that it could run the risk of being too feel-good. Like, okay, this is too fluffed up. And it goes back to what I thought of why I don't like a lot of gay-themed movies, because they are too dark and too gritty or depressing all the time on a consistent basis. That's not to say that darker gay-themed movies are bad, but when I find that is the norm that Hollywood pushes out there with movies like Brokeback Mountain, Moonlight, Call Me By Your Name, Carol, to name just a few off the top of my head, dramatic, dark films that aren't happy, they aren't feel good, And as a gay man, I need a feel-good movie. It succeeds in its mission to make people happy and to uplift them. And so to call it a feel-good movie, I see that as a positive. I don't see that as a negative. If I were to analyze the film, there was one scene, maybe a couple scenes in particular, I would have asked for a little bit more meatiness or more time to sit in on a couple of these characters, but it didn't take away from the film. Could I have interjected a little bit more dialogue? Yes, I would have done that for just a couple scenes. But that's it. I feel like this movie is a movie for everybody. It's not just a movie for the gay community. It's a movie for all communities, especially young people and youth of the world, and trying to find their identity and discover who they are. And it's a movie about love, and it's a movie about friendship and being true to who you are, like so many films try to present, but it does it in such a way that it's almost timeless. I'm gonna give Love, Simon an A. Well, that's my review of Love, Simon for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you check it out. And until next time, I'm Ryan Bamey signing off. Bye, everyone.